Hey there, all you creepers and reapers. Welcome to another episode of the Femme Fatalities. I'm your co-hostess, Anna, and I am here with...
Hey, Grieflings and Frightlings, it's Margaret, and welcome back, Anna. So wonderful to have you back. Yes. And so today, what are we talking about, Anna?
Well, it's funny that you ask. Now that I'm back from the boneyard, I did dig up a few things, and they happen to be trailers for films that are coming out this summer. That's right. We have so much to talk about and so much to predict.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. Now, the first one is actually something that I have seen the other two films to, and Margaret has not yet. So I'm very excited. We are talking about A Quiet Place, Day One. And my prediction is that it's going to have nothing to do with the central characters in the other two films, and it's going to be kind of off and on to its own, but also a precursor to information about the critters that are in the other two films. So we're learning more about that and seeing how things kind of began and items of that nature. Margaret, what do you think? Not having seen any of the films, you're kind of going into this just with knowledge from the trailers.
Yes, I am really excited. I thought it looked action packed. I thought it looked really exciting. So I am really excited. And Anna and I talked about this earlier. I'm going to go in blind. We were debating, should I watch the first two before I see Day One? And we agreed, no, it'll be interesting to see as somebody who hasn't watched any of them to start with the last film and then move into the other two. What are you hopeful for in Day One since you've already seen the other two?
I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing how everything happened and how we find like displacement of so many other characters and kind of people's resolve. There aren't like a lot of survivors, but I think that one thing we do learn in the other two movies is to be very strategic. I don't want to say too much without giving things away. I do love that our protagonist or our hero in the first film, we find out who they are at the end, and we'll talk about this after we see the new movie more, but I share a little bit of a connection with this person, so it was really great to see that. But I really like how the trailer has alluded to this is not like a continuance or, you know, a precursor to that particular unit or group. Like we have another unit of people who somehow join together, and it'll be interesting to see what kinds of bonds and connections are formed throughout a chaotic situation as well, which I always enjoy. Hopefully no animals are harmed in the film, but I'm excited too to see the monsters because it looks like the effects are going to be pretty cool. So I'm excited for that. What about you? What are you hoping to get out of this?
I just want a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, one that does not
One that
disappoint,
doesn't
and then
suck.
I'll watch the other two, and then we can have a whole cast about
Mhm.
the three of them. I What I find disappointing so often in our modern cinema is you see this trailer, it looks so amazing, and then you
Mhm.
see the movie and you're so
Yeah.
disappointed. So I try to go in and keep my expectations
Mhm.
low, even though the trailer,
Yeah.
it looks exciting. It looks good.
Yeah, it does. And I hope I'm with you. I hope it's awesome. And you're right. The worst is like when you see a trailer like this is going to be so cool and you get there and it's just craptastic, like, and not in a good way. It's just like, did I really just like pay to see this and give 90 minutes of my life to this? Um, yeah, that's always a bummer. But you know, one movie that I don't think is going to disappoint at all, Maxine.
Oh, you are so excited. You have
Yes.
just been
She is
waiting.
she is my girl. And any of you who listen to our podcast, or even if you haven't, go back and listen to our podcast on X and Pearl. I love this trilogy. This is me. I feel like I recently read that people are connecting to these characters in the same way people connected to Joaquin Phoenix and Joker. There's just something about Pearl and Maxine that speak to people on a very visceral level. And if they're not your cup of tea, that's okay. Don't have a swig, but I will drink the whole gallon, and that is cool too. I'm very excited because it looks like a Hollywood whodunit, and of course we have some historical perspective too, because they mentioned the Night Stalker, which in the 80s in LA you kind of have to. But I do have my own ideas and predictions. Now, Margaret, you've seen X and Pearl. What are your thoughts about Maxine and the trailer and kind of what might be going on?
That is a great question. I can't wait to hear your theories because I know you probably have way more theories than I do. I'm just really curious to see how the Night Stalker and Maxine cross. I'm curious to see like what's going on with her career because she seems to be distressed. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm ready to see her character arc, to see what actually happens after her trauma, surviving Pearl, and yeah. So tell me, what are your predictions?
Well, I love that you mentioned the trauma too, because people forget Maxine is our protagonist. In no way is she an antagonist. She was in a horrific situation. The only reason that she offed Pearl was she could get out of there, right? Because she knew it was like fight or flight. She couldn't fly away, so she had to fight. And I really
And
hope.
her religious trauma. I want to
Yeah,
pause you there. Like, as you're talking about Maxine,
yes.
she was escaping religious trauma to
Hmm.
end up at that farm and then have to endure the trauma of her lover, her friends being murdered, and like you said, and then having to kill
Yeah,
somebody to survive.
exactly. So, Maxine to me is very badass. She's very strong because of all of the trauma that she's been through. I think that there's going to be some kind of connection with the Night Stalker situation to Lily Collins' character and also the director of the Puritan 2, which is the movie Maxine is going to star in. Because in one of the trailers, the director smears fake blood all over Lily Collins. And she turns around and she's like, now we all have blood on our hands. And I'm like, that's a double entendre right there because you know something about Maxine and you've done something. And so has Lily Collins' character. So that's my prediction. I think it's going to be something that, like, you have this expectation and it's totally different. I'm super excited that Kevin Bacon is in it too. I think it's going to be great. I did hear a rumor that the film series is going to turn into a quadrology. So I'm very excited for that. To me, that means Maxine will survive. Um, so I'd be super bummed if she got offed. But I think Mia Goth is a wonderful actress. I think that this series has just been great. I mean, everyone knows who's listened to the cast or knows me or knows of me how much I connect to these characters, and so it's been a wild ride. It's been a fun ride, and funny enough though, one day, um, so at my full time gig, the office I currently work in, there's a communal ladies' room that we share with a few other businesses, which isn't that uncommon. But I was like washing my hands one day and I just started laughing and I was like, you're a fucking star. And I was just like, because I had just watched like the trailer vaccine, I didn't realize someone else was in the bathroom and they come out and they're like, duh. So that was great.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Thank you
Yeah,
for sharing. Yes.
it was really funny. But yeah, I just cannot wait to see it. I think it's going to be the perfect mix of blood, gore, mystery, drama, excitement. Hopefully no romance. I don't need that. like
No.
we don't need any of that. So, we don't need no love
Yeah.
story. We want a slasher
No.
story.
We want a good horror story. We don't need romance
Mhm.
to come in and just
Blech.
yeah.
Gross. Right. Well, and I love that Kevin Bacon is in it also because it's a nod to his start in horror because his first film was Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Yeah, so that makes me really happy that they picked someone who's kind of a throwback in the horror genre, like instead of just some random person that's never ever done horror before. So I'm very excited, but it looks like they have a great cast lined up, and I could just talk about my excitement for like ever. So I guess I should stop.
Yes, and then that way you can say, did the movie live up to the hype? Did it
Yeah,
not?
definitely. I hope it does because I'd be so disappointed if it doesn't. I'm like, no. But my plans are
What?
because it comes out on the 5th of July, to see it at least once that weekend, probably 2 or 3 times, pending how good it is. So that's the
Ooh.
plan. I'm so excited.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I'm excited that you suggested a film
Yes.
that I had not even heard of yet. I watched the trailer, and I gotta ask you first, what are you thinking about Longlegs?
Ooh, I am so excited. I've been following. So my excitement for Longlegs is probably a little less than yours for Maxxine because I don't want to be disappointed. So their brilliant marketing plan and just releasing these trailers that are spooky and eerie and don't really give us any context, anything,
Mm-hmm.
kind of reminds me of like going into like Sinister, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
where you're just kind of like, you're not sure what's going on. You just know that there's something that's very unsettling.
Yeah.
I love Nick Cage, huge Nick Cage fan. So I'm excited to see him as a serial killer. And ooh, it has some Silence of the Lamb kind of
Mm-hmm.
vibes to it. So I'm really hoping that this is a horror detective movie that just sucks you in and again doesn't disappoint. Isn't hope they get the pacing right because in detective horror films sometimes the pacing is just
Mm-hmm.
off and then you're bored.
Yeah. It should be good. I mean, I'm excited to see more. Like you said, the trailers, they're not really giving a lot of information, which makes it more spoopy. I mean, what have you kind of decided, like in your mind, like what the storyline could potentially be from what you're seeing in the trailers?
I think we've got our female protagonist, which builds empathy and vulnerability, and I feel like she's gonna get sucked in to trying to like figure out who is he, what's going on. What do you think?
I think I'm agreeing with you, the female protagonist. I think that it's all in her head. I'm gonna go with
Oh,
like a whole like mental health type of situation. I think that she saw something really traumatic when she was a child, and she's got a lot of like delusions going on. So perhaps she's imagined like she's an FBI profiler and she's doing all these things. But realistically, like the monster or the creature is just unaddressed grief, trauma, all these sorts of things that have caused her to question her own stability, comfort, all these sorts of things. But once again, like the trailer, it only gives a little information, but that's part of the fun because here we are. We
yes,
both want to see it, and we're going in with totally different ideas and expectations.
yes. Ooh, this will be a
Mhm.
fun one to talk about too.
Yes. And if anyone is looking for a fun treat, if you are on the gram or other social media, particularly Maxxine and Longlegs, there are phone numbers that you can call, give them a buzz, let us know what you think. Please give us feedback if you do call. We would love to know. We've already called. I hate to admit this, but I still call Maxine maybe once
You get to
a
admit
day.
that hers is a lot funner
Yeah.
than the long legs one that feels like you're in junior high being prank called by some creepy kid.
Yes. I was like, ugh. So I kept that number too because then I'm like, if I come across anyone who like, you know, kind of aggravates me a little bit, I'd be like, call this number.
That is a great idea. So, female listeners or even male
Yes.
listeners, if somebody approaches you and asks for your digits and you don't want to give it, we will link the Longlegs
Yes.
number and you can give them this number. And then, yes.
Yeah, because I remember back in the day, it was okay, it was like late 90s to early 2000s, so like high school for me. Um, there was a number you could call, it's called the rejection hotline. So if someone asked for your phone number, you'd give it, and then they would call and they would be like, "You've reached the rejection hotline. The person whose number you asked for is not interested in you. Sorry for the letdown. Have a great day," or like something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, Nick Cage, I mean, I think he gets the point across too, but in a different way.
Yes. Very like, okay, I don't even want to mess with this person.
Yeah. Like, but yeah, so definitely check those out. Let us know what you think. And now you have a solution in your back pocket too.
Yes.
Problem solvers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so yes, listeners, let us know what you're excited for. If you've watched the movies, what you think.
Definitely. And keep us updated. Of course, we're going to
Yeah.
have casts coming after we see these to let us know, or to let us know, to let you guys know what we think. And you let us
Yes.
too. And if there are movies coming out this summer that you have seen trailers for that we didn't mention, tell us. Like, we are planning for this summer to be the summer of all summers and seeing all the horror that we can and talking about it and just having a grand time.
Yes. So please let us know.
Or else.
Yeah.
We'll haunt you. Yeah, we'll astral project over to you and give you a gentle reminder to tell us.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you for tuning in and listening to our excitement and our predictions. And we look forward to recording and telling you our thoughts and analyzing the films, of course, and applying grief and talking about other things. And yeah, if you have any questions or you want to talk about anything like in reference to these films, like send us ideas, send us feedback,
Yes.
let us know like what your thoughts are too, because we're definitely down to talk about a variety of different things on the cast.
Yes. So thank you for listening. Reach out and
Yes, we'll see you soon. Don't forget your Puppet Master popcorn and your Creeper Cola when you go to the movies.
yes.
Till next time.
Bye.